Hello everybody, thank you for joining me on my first ever YouTube video. Now I wondered where to start and I thought I'd start with what I do best, and that's helping people to get unstuck in life and career. So let's get into it. So when a client comes to me and says that they're stuck, they normally describe it in ways such as there's a lack of direction, possibly even a lack of purpose. Something in life isn't working and they don't feel like they're moving forward. So for me, a few years ago, it was definitely a case of everything on paper was great, but I wasn't fulfilled. I felt stuck. It's turned me into who I am today. And the important thing that you notice is that being stuck, it's not a sign that you're lazy. It's not a sign that there's anything wrong with you. It's normally just a sign that there's something internal that's out of alignment. And that leads us straight into the first step of knowing your values. So when you feel stuck, it's often the sign that you've drifted away from your values. Now, your values in life are what's non-negotiables for you. They're the kind of rules that we live our life to. Whether we know that or whether we don't, often it can be a subconscious thing. But when our actions are not aligning with our values, we get an inner turmoil, and that presents itself as feeling stuck. Now, the important thing to do here is to get to know your values. And for that, we need vocabulary. It's hard to just think on the spot. What are my values? And it's a difficult kind of question. So go online, Google, top 100 values, and just have a look at the list. Just read through it and pick out the top 10 values that jump out at you. Whittle that down to 5 values that are most important to you, and then take that 5 down to 3. 3 non-negotiable values that you live your life by, or at least want to live your life by. Really difficult, even though actually it sounds like a very simple exercise, but it's well worth taking the time. So get to know your values. Once you do, those act as like a filter or like a compass for the next steps that you take in your life. Now, with coaching, there can be something called values elicitation, and that goes much deeper than what I've just described there, and really helps you to get to your core value, as well as knowing your move towards, move away from, and your driving values. So there's a lot of detail here. But for now, just do as I say. Let's get to step 2. So now you know your values. Step 2 is to take action. And it's not about taking the right action, it's about taking any action. You'll know roughly what you want to do because it will feel right. If your next step aligns with the values that you've picked out, then that's the right step to take. Doesn't matter if it's small, a phone call, journaling, just something small that will then bring clarity. And that's the biggest mistake a lot of people make, is they wait for clarity before taking action. The key is you have to take action, and then out of that comes the clarity that you are longing for. But you want it to be in line with your values, because then motivation flows, it feels easy, and finally you're getting on the right path and you're starting to get unstuck. So step 3, audit your environment and your beliefs. So the environment, really practical step, but look around you, is your place conducive to taking those small action steps that you've not been doing? Are your habits suitable? Are the people that you surround yourself with helping you to get unstuck, or are they actually part of the problem? It's all about raising awareness about your situation. So have a good long look at your environment and start to make those small changes again to get it to where you want it to be, to in line with your values. And then on the beliefs front, beliefs are so important. I could do hours and hours on beliefs, but in summary, beliefs are opinions that we no longer question. That's a big statement. When was the last time you actually questioned your beliefs? Often we think about the beliefs as fact, and it's an internal narrative. It's this thoughts that's normally quite negative, normally keeps us in a position because of risk, because naturally our subconscious is programmed to keep us safe, which is great 100 years ago, 500 years ago, but now we can afford a bit of risk. We can afford to take these small steps to give us the clarity to help us to move forward. So look at your beliefs. What is it that you're telling yourself on a daily basis? Notice them. Be curious. Question those beliefs. Often, if we ask our beliefs, where is the evidence for that? It's not true. And often the evidence points to the opposite being true. The classic being, you are capable, you are worthy. So look at your environment, look at your beliefs, and see what comes up for you. Let's go to step 4. So step 4 is to get honest support. We all have blind spots, it's natural. And that's part of the power of coaching and especially mentoring as well. There's someone who can give you this light to shine on areas that normally remain dark in our lives. Friends, yes, they can give you that support, and definitely if you feel comfortable with someone, maybe family or maybe even a colleague, ask them for honest support. Ask them what they would do in a situation that you're in, or whether they've noticed certain things about you. But it can be difficult because friends and on a personal level, often we have our own agendas, whether conscious or subconscious. So it's hard to get that real honest feedback that a coach or a mentor can give you. But if you can, I appreciate it's not always possible, get honest support because it really is valuable and moves you forward far quicker than if you can on your own. So step 5 is to reflect and adjust. So it's really good at a minimum on a weekly basis to take time to look back and go, what have you done? What are the small steps? How have you taken a tiny step to get closer to your values this week? Reflect on what worked, what didn't work. Could you ask a friend or create a small group, like a change group, where you can hold each other accountable for things that you want to do? It's really important that you take those small little steps and you reflect and you adjust, because over time, those small steps add up to a huge change. And before you know it, you'll have the motivation flowing, you'll be living in line with your values, and you'll no longer identify as stuck. So there's the 5 steps. I hope there's some real practical, useful knowledge for you there. But before I go, I just want to tell you how I've put that into my life and how it's changed who I am. So for me, many years ago, I was really stuck. I was in a good job, should have been happy, but I wasn't. I didn't know what my values were. I learned what my values were. I was able to start taking steps to move towards them. A core value of mine is security. I didn't realize it, although, it's a really basic thing. Yes, we have the paycheck, right? Financial security is important. But until I realized that that was overriding all my other values, all my other desires, all my beliefs, I couldn't take any steps to satisfy that value to allow me to move into a different field. So when I knew what security was, I identified what financial security meant to me. I could then make that my goal, to make the steps to allow me to quit my job, to allow me to retrain, to allow me to learn, to allow me to develop, all those small steps to where I am today now as a professional coach. So hopefully that helps you understand the process to getting unstuck in life. It can feel really difficult when you're in it, and I know it's hard, but just take those small steps. But the first steps, make sure it's about understanding who you are and what you value. I cannot express how critical that is. Then the flow starts to happen, the motivation starts to roll in. Thank you for your time. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will definitely be doing more. Let me know if there's any specific subjects that you want me to talk about. But otherwise, stay safe, have a great day, and I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.